So today we're going to be taking a look at two of the newest launches from the house of authenticity perfumes. The first one is Coffee Lush, and the second one is Green Aurora. So stay tuned to hear my thoughts on these two. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go to smash the subscribe button down below. But that's correct guys, we're taking a look at two fragrance offerings from the house of authenticity perfumes. Now, if you haven't heard of this house before, they are sort of like an indie/niche house that create all of their own unique fragrances. These are not clones of anything, which I just love because a lot of like indie smaller houses are just clone houses, but not these guys here. So that is great that they did that. And these do retail for $50. I think most of their fragrances do, but I think they're always either on sale or they're currently on sale for $39.99, which is an absolute steal for the juice that you're getting because these are actually pretty high quality and very highly concentrated. So that is great, especially for that price tag. But I do also want to mention that these were sent out to me for review. So thank you to those guys over there. I'll leave their link down below where you'll be able to check out these two fragrances and all the others. I think they have like probably around 10 or so fragrances. So they do have quite a bit to check out. But let's go ahead and look at the packaging that you'll expect when you get authenticity perfume fragrances. So it does come in kind of like a generic box, but obviously they rather, I guess, focus on the quality of the juice than packaging, which is great in my opinion. I do respect that. You don't always have to have over the top packaging and bottles. I do sort of sometimes love actually the stock bottles. I do have quite a bit of them from different houses and stuff, but yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. But on the back, it does says premium long lasting fragrances at reasonable prices, which is 100% accurate. It also says 50% oil concentration, which would make it a straight to parfum. It says 12 hours plus hours of longevity. So they're promising you guys with these fragrances, you're gonna get over 12 hours. We'll talk about if that's true in the video. And these are also made in the USA, which is cool. And they all are 2 ounce bottles, 60 ml. So you get a little bit more juice than your typical 50 ml bottle, which most of like fragrances like this come in. So that's also pretty cool. You get extra 10 mils. So yeah, the first fragrance we're gonna be talking about is Coffee Lush. So let's get right into it. All right, so honestly guys, Coffee Lush was absolutely polarizing the first time I smelled it. That's the word I can describe it. So let's go ahead and spray this on the test strip, test out the atomizer here. Decent atomizer. It is just pretty much like the typical stock atomizer, but nothing to complain about it. Now with this fragrance, wow guys. This is definitely 50% oil concentration. This is so potent, so strong. I wouldn't even recommend spraying it like this and putting it up to your nose because it is just so powerful. But with this fragrance, with a Coffee Lush name, what are you gonna expect? You're gonna expect a very heavy coffee fragrance, which this is right here. I think they actually extracted like coffee beans straight into this fragrance, I believe. But how this reminds me, you do have that coffee in the top notes, but it smells, like I said, like coffee grounds. If you've ever actually bought like a Starbucks bag of coffee, and you know how it has like a slit in the front where you can like squeeze it and smell it and see the aroma of it, that's how this fragrance smells. This literally smells like authentic coffee. This is the most realistic coffee fragrance in my entire collection. I don't have anything that actually smells straight up like coffee besides this one here. So if that's what you're going for, if you love the smell of coffee, you're gonna love this fragrance, especially at the price, guys. I cannot get over that price of $39.99 for a fragrance that smells like realistic coffee. But alongside the coffee, it does kind of smell like caramel coffee in my opinion. Yeah, like a caramel coffee grounds. I also believe you have like chocolate, like mocha in there as well. You get some like tobacco, like leafy tobacco as it dries down, not in the opening. The opening is 100% coffee through and through. It does dry down to more of the coffee stays for the life of the fragrance for like the 12 hours longevity of this stuff, which it does get. It's very potent, very strong. So I respect that they actually put down the bottle 12 hours plus, and that's what you're gonna get with this fragrance and what you're gonna expect. So that's not false advertisement. If you're looking for beast mode fragrances, this one definitely is it. Yeah, very gourmand. very, very gourmand. I actually wore this fragrance and kind of got a compliment on it. She was walking behind me. She's like, wow, does anyone else smell that? It smells like coffee. And yeah, I was like, yeah, that's actually me. I'm actually wearing a coffee-based fragrance. And I told her what I was wearing. And she's like, wow, I never smelled anything like that. Which, yeah, most people wouldn't. Most people think of fragrances that smell like a typical kind of colognes, like Bleu de Chanel, Sauvage, stuff that just smells crowd-pleasing and not like unique and niche like this here. So yeah, wearing this one, people are gonna think you smell like coffee or you spilled coffee on you, which isn't a bad thing. I love the smell of coffee. Every time like at the store, I'm always like smelling different coffee and getting the aroma of each one and trying to pick out the notes and stuff like that. Because coffee is kind of like fragrances. If you look at a bag, it'll say like, oh, you get these kind of notes like caramel, mocha, things like that, which is pretty fun, pretty interesting. Yeah, but this is obviously gonna wanna wear this one in the cold months. This is definitely 100% a fall fragrance. When I smell this one, I think of fall. And actually, my fiance, when I was wearing this one, she's like, wow, that smells very warming, very inviting, which it is. This is just like a warming fragrance. When you spray this on skin, especially on skin, it's just warming, like you're kind of like cozy, warming fragrance with this one. As far as performance, like I said, 12 hours plus easily. Projection, this is beast mode. Absolute beast mode. This will fill up a room 100%. So you don't have to go heavy on the trigger with this one either. No more than 5 sprays will be absolutely enough, 100%. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts. I absolutely love Coffee Lush. So let's move over to Green Aurora. Okay, so for Green Aurora, guys, I'll be honest with you, this was not like the love at first sniff like Coffee Lush, but we'll get to that here. So let me spray this one on the test strip and tell you guys what I think of Green Aurora by Authenticity Perfumes. So with this fragrance, this is a very different fragrance and not what I was kind of expecting, but I can definitely see why it smells like this, especially with the name Green Aurora. So let's see what I pick up. Okay, so once again, very potent, very dense, just like Coffee Lush. 100%, this has to be 50% oil concentration because of how strong this comes across, man. But in the opening, what I get is a very sour apple note. Yeah, very sour fragrance. Alongside the apple, you do have lime, you do have bergamot. So all 3 green notes in this fragrance with the name Green Aurora. That's what you're gonna expect with this fragrance here. They're very polarizing. It kind of comes across kind of soapy as well. It does have this soapy asset to it. Very different fragrance. Now, this actually does have the note of cannabis in it. So I knew that when it was on the, before I had the bottle, I knew it had cannabis in it, which I do own quite a few cannabis fragrances from like Fragrance du Bois, like Cannabis Intense, Cannabis Blue. I own a Hindu Kush from Mansera. So I am very familiar with the cannabis note in fragrances. So that's why I was kind of expecting this to be more like a cannabis heavy fragrance like those 3, but no, this is completely different. Just very, very bright. It is sort of uplifting green fragrance with this. It also has patchouli. You guys know I love patchouli. That's also a green note. So they just pretty much slapped a ton of green notes in this fragrance. Lime, bergamot, cannabis, patchouli, apple, and just thrown it all together, which is pretty cool actually, that it has so many green dominant notes in here. But the opening, guys, is sort of, not everyone's gonna love it. I'm sure a lot of people will that love apple. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of like a dominant apple, or at least like a dominant sour apple note that you get in here. But I do like it more as it dries down. So as it dries down, the sourness goes away. Probably after like an hour or 2. It does take quite a long time for the dry down to start happening in the opening because, like I said, very potent fragrance. But after like 2 hours or so, it does become a lot more enjoyable to my nose. It becomes a little bit more herbal, a little bit more cannabis heavy, a little bit more patchouli heavy. And I love the note of cannabis and patchouli, especially together. I think they work wonderful. But yeah, that's pretty much how I describe this one. Also, how I would describe this, actually, it does come across like a green apple Jolly Rancher. Very candy-like with this. The first time I smelled it, I was like, wow, it's reminding me of something. And then it just clicked. Jolly Rancher, guys. If you've ever actually had a green Jolly Rancher, that's how this smells. Which a lot of people love green Jolly Ranchers, like that candy, kind of like sticky kind of vibe with this. Yeah, man. Yeah, so sour apple comes across kind of soapy, comes across like candy-like with the green Jolly Rancher, and then it dries down to much more pleasant to my nose, which I like, to the herbal, cannabis, and earthy patchouli. And just look at that juice color, like that's pretty cool. It's like a minty kind of green juice right there, which don't have any fragrance that quite looks like that juice color, so that is pretty interesting and unique. As far as performance, just like Coffee Lush, man, 12 hours plus. They are not lying when it comes to that fact on their boxes, guys. They stand behind that. Very strong stuff. I wouldn't say this is as pretty much as potent as Coffee Lush when it comes down to like the projection and sillage. That stuff is just nuclear. This stuff is somewhat nuclear, just not as nuclear as that. But no complaints whatsoever when it comes to performance. Yeah, as far as seasons, this is definitely a spring/summer fragrance without a doubt, just because of the bright opening, the sourness to it, the greenness to it when everything comes back to life in the spring. That's when you're gonna wanna pull this one out. But hats off to Authentic Perfumes for both of these launches, both very, very solid. That's pretty much gonna wrap up the overview of both of these fragrances. Let me know if you've tried either of these, or if you've ever actually heard of the house of Authentic Perfumes and which is your favorite if you have. But leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll catch all you guys in the next upload. Take care, everybody.